I'm responsible for my own sexual health. He didn't force sex on me, and he didn't know he had HIV. Hey guys, what is up? It's a Monday, and this is my Monday vlog for you. Just a little catch up on what's been going on in my life. I've had a cold. It's still sort of sounding like it's there, but I actually feel fine. And I put up a video about my neck injury, and you know, I have to say, I think it's gonna get better all by itself. It's feeling like much better today. I haven't even taken one pill, but I am taking a steroid for the inflammation, like a 5-day course. So I don't know, I think that might do it. I'm not feeling like this is getting, it's not stagnant. It feels like it's actually getting better on its own. Thank gosh. And now I just have to find out like what I need to do to maybe make my neck more healthy afterwards. Don't say chiropractor, because I won't do that. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I've been to one before and I didn't like how I felt after, so just not a believer. Sorry. So what's happening in my life? I wanted to thank again all my new subscribers who came and subscribed to my channel for watching my HIV/AIDS story and pictures. There was a crazy push from YouTube about a week ago for like 10 days straight. That video did really, really well, and it's now my biggest video. I can't believe it. It actually beat my 16 symptoms video. It just surpassed it. It's my largest viewed video at this point, and I can't even tell you like how happy that makes me, because it was the video that I worked on so hard. My 16 symptoms video was just basically talking into the camera. I definitely organized what I wanted to say, but in terms of like the work that went into that versus what I did with the other video, plus the other one told my story, and that's really what I wanted out there. So and since that video did so well recently, of course I get all kind of there's so many similar questions that repeat over and over again. And a couple of them were, well, the one that's really common is people don't believe that I was called by the physician and told over the phone. And I have clarified it in many of the comments, but I just can't get to all of them. And I've talked about it in another video also. I gave that doctor permission to call me if he got back anything that was confirmatory in my blood work, because when I left there that day, I was very sick. We were concerned that I could be meningitis, and that's really terrifying when you're dealing with fevers in the brain and the meninges. It's in your spinal column, and you don't mess with that. So it was one of those circumstances that it was like, anything that you find out, call me. I gave him permission to call me, and that was how I found out. It was over the phone. And it's not unusual. There's many people who get the news that way. There's this, you know, everyone wants to believe that there's this like Hallmark movie version where you have time to like gather your loved ones and go into the office together and sit down and hold hands while the doctor gives you the news, and that's just not realistic. Sometimes they do tell people to come in to the office, and of course many of those times it's just to give a negative result. So in my circumstance, I'm fine with the fact that it happened over the phone. Again, I asked to be told as soon as he had any kind of news to call and tell me, so that's how I found out. The other thing that comes up a lot is, why didn't you sue the person who you contracted HIV from, and why didn't you sue the clinic? One or the other. Okay, so I guess we'll start with the person that I contracted HIV from. So I don't even understand why anybody would even assume that I could sue him. I'm responsible for my own sexual health. He didn't force sex on me, and he didn't know he had HIV, for one thing. So it's not anything I would have even remotely pursued. Negligence towards the clinic, that felt different because it wasn't personal. Like, that wasn't going after somebody personally and ruining their lives. So we did look into that, and that was something that we were told to look into by the county the county that I live in. And so it was a different county that didn't contact me, and so my county got involved in trying to figure out what had happened and why I wasn't contacted. And a lot of it seemed like in the very beginning I had some people that were really I don't know the best word to describe it. They were just very on it. Like, they wanted to go for this, and they were pissed. Like, they wanted to find out what happened. And I was like, wow, like, I didn't even expect that. But they were like, this should have never happened. And in a way made me feel like, well, maybe there is something there. And then as time went on, it sort of just kind of petered out, and it just didn't seem like there was really anything could be done. Basically, on the other end, they had a lot of people saying that they couldn't track down who should have made this call. There was no note that they say existed in his records saying that they were supposed to call me. It was maybe handwritten. So a lot of people claiming they don't know. And so there was nobody to really, sue, or if you were going to sue, it's funny because the same person who brought it up to me that said I might have a case is the same person who basically told me to let it go. So she said that, well, basically at this point, what are you going to sue for? Like, it would be, at this point, it would be basically 2 months of your loss of work and, what you've gone through sickness wise, and on a scale of like, there's no real scale to determine what that's worth, you're being sick. And so she basically said with the money that would go into like trying to sue them, and it was just sounding like it was all a gigantic waste of time. And so it wasn't pursued. It just wasn't. And my mindset at the time was just to get better and to heal. And I feel like suing, there's so much negativity, and it's a dark place, and I needed lightness in my life. And so I didn't pursue anything legal because it didn't feel like it was going to go anywhere anyways. And she sort of minimized in a way and she was on my side. She basically minimized my 2 months off work and my illness, basically saying, you're not going to die, you're going to be fine. So what, in terms of like, financial gain could you really get from this? And so it wasn't hard to just make that decision and be like, just freaking forget it. Let's just walk away from this. So, and the other thing is going in and, using all this energy and anger to fight this, and then have the possibility of you not winning, and then feeling even more insulted by the entire experience. So all I really needed to do at that point was just get better physically so that I could heal mentally, and that's what I focused on, and that's just where it went. So the thought of any kind of legal action with anybody was not anything I was interested in, really. I mean, unless they thought I had some multi-million-dollar lawsuit on my hands and it wasn't going to be that hard to win. I mean, then yeah, maybe I would have thought about it, but it sounded like it was going to be a lot of effort for maybe not much return, if any. So to me, it seemed pointless. So if anybody knows any more about that, I think at this point, it's too late. But the statute of limitations are done with that one, I'm sure. And again, I'm still not even interested in pursuing that. So yeah, so those are two things that are brought up quite often, is why didn't I sue him and why didn't I sue the clinic? I will say that he did send me a check for $1,000. He owed me money a little bit more than that, probably 3 or 4 times that amount, but I think there was some guilt on his part for sure, and he did reach out and send me a check for some of the money that he owed me, and that was good. I was glad he was able to do that. It was appreciated. It let me know that he never meant any harm by not telling me. He really truly thought that the clinic had contacted me. Also, that when I got a hold of his family, his working number for me wasn't working, so I went through somebody on Facebook, a cousin of his, and got his mom's number. And when she answered and I asked her if he had had HIV, she took a moment and sighed, and she said yes, and she said the clinic was supposed to call you. And like, I mean, you don't make that up on the spot. So I know that there was no bad intentions there, and there was really actually no negligence. He tried to have them contact me. And in many situations, it's not comfortable for the person who's been diagnosed to call an ex-partner and share that information with them. So the most anonymous way to do it and the safest way for the person that's been diagnosed is to have the clinic do that for them, so that the person on the other end just gets a call and says, look, you might have been exposed to HIV. You need to go test. That's the best way to do it, is to have the clinic do it for you. So he wasn't negligent in any way. So that's where I am with that. And, all is good. I'm not Sue happy. I think this is a Sue happy nation. And it kind of bums me out that people go to that place a lot with this story, and they always feel like I should have sued. We're all just people, and I know the court system would prefer that everybody could just handle things on their own for the most part. When it's small claims, stuff like this, they don't want to see you in their courthouse. They just want you to friggin' figure it out on your own. So that's why I didn't do it. I'm happy I didn't do it. I'm more than happy with how it's all transpired since then. All right, everybody. I hope you guys have a great week. I'm really looking forward to my spring break and just being off and cleaning my house and just not having the stress of getting up in the morning and having to be somewhere and having a lunch made and, all that good stuff. All right. Be well, and comment, like, and subscribe to my videos. Watch my videos. That helps. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye.